Alright, Josh here, and welcome to another Ultra Series team discussion. Now, today is sadly the last episode of this little series. On the Smog on post, there was 5 teams. This is the 5th, the last one. But there is one more team that wasn't on there that I do want to talk over in this episode. And we'll have time because most of these Pokemon I have already gone over in some of the other episodes. So if you kind of want to hear more about Mega Salamence or Incineroar, or most of these, I think the only Pokemon we haven't actually discussed in the series so far on this team is Tapu Koko. So going through this team will be a bit shorter, but I do want to talk about another core just after this. Okay, so just looking at the team like at a glance, it's always got some fast mons, got some Groudon's like mid speed, and then you got like the 2 slow ones. Incineroar's pretty much just Intimidate support, isn't it? And Amoonguss redirection, and it's always a good answer for Trick Room. Obviously, just instantly like if you want to be sporing things, don't bring Tapu Koko. That could be a bit problematic, but yeah, like to start off with, obviously we've got the Mega Salamence. We've spoken about it in 2 previous episodes. Again, it's pretty similar. You can have Naive or Hasty. Mixed is by far the most common set, but Special or Physical, they're both really good. But I think most of the time I would prefer Mixed because Hyper Voice is just so strong and Double Edge is just ridiculous. So next up we got the Groudon. I did speak about this in the last episode. And I think this is the same set from the last team that I talked about as well, but I also used it on the Ultra Series testing yesterday, and Swords Dance was something like I wasn't 100% convinced about on Primal Groudon. I know it can be good, but when I tried it like a month ago, I wasn't really keen on it, and I'm pretty sure I dropped it for like Rock Tomb or Stomping Tantrum. Like either of those 2 are really good options. But yesterday in the Ultra Series testing, like Swords Dance was so good. Like it completely changed my mind on it. Like it was just came in handy like in a few games, and it just puts on so much pressure, especially when you've got the bulk like to back it up. That team was paired with Finny though, which was good support with Groudon. But this has got Tapu Koko, which I suppose does help against Kyogres. But as I said with the Xerneas Lunala team, the Xerneas Groudon team we looked at last time, Rayouga was a bit of a problem for that. So Koko does kind of help that matchup a little bit, although pretty much every Rayouga team does have a Lightning Rod user, so it's not just as simple as, I'll bring Tapu Koko and I beat it. You just have to play, you need to focus down on Lightning Rod user and then obviously deal with the Kyogre and Rayquaza, etc. Afterwards. So next up is Lunala, and it's quite like an interesting pairing, I guess, like Groudon and Lunala as you're restricted. It's not like something that would, when I think of a restricted pair, like it's not something that like, pops into my mind straight away. It seems a bit weird, but I can understand it. And this actually Lunala is a bit different to the ones we've looked at. I mean, it's pretty much the same. The classic Timid 252-252 with the Lunalium Z. That is by far the best Lunala item. This does not have Psyshock, which is pretty interesting actually because there's no Psychic type attacks on the other. So, but I suppose like, what Psychic type attacks good at beating really like currently? Like Mega Gengar, Amoonguss, those are really the common ones that don't want to be taking Psychic type attacks. Well, Groudon deals with both of those, and so does Incineroar. So I don't think it's too necessary on this team to have Psyshock. Wide Guard is one that the other Lunala we looked at had. I think that's a really good option, especially with Groudon. You can block opposing Groudon's Precipice Blades as long as it's not special. Obviously, then it can Earth Power you. Or if you're in a really tricky spot and you're stuck against a Kyogre, if it's got Origin Pulse and Water Spout, obviously it's not going to be able to use those. But well, if he's got Scald, then your Groudon's a bit knackered. Obviously in Rain, but if it's only got Origin Pulse and Water Spout, which some do, some don't run Scald. Some are just like Water Spout, Origin Pulse, and Thunder or Ice Beam. So Wide Guard can come in handy, and this Lunala is that mixed bag of tricks from where it's got Tailwind and Trick Room. If you're going to run like a Tailwind, I always do kind of like having options with Tailwind. Sometimes it's nice to have Salamence with Tailwind and Lunala with Tailwind, just in case one's got a terrible matchup. It's always nice to be able to have the other one as a backup. And this Lunala has Trick Room, which is a great option on Lunala, especially paired with Groudon. You can set like this is slow enough to work in Trick Room still, and obviously like Amoonguss and Incineroar do well. Incineroar's not really like an offensive powerhouse, is it? But it does well in Trick Room, and Amoonguss obviously does really well in Trick Room. Also, why? I feel like there's EVs missing, right? Oh, it's 68 speed. Okay, that's interesting. I'll get onto that in a second. But yeah, obviously like Amoonguss and Groudon are a good pairing in Trick Room, and they do really well. So yeah, Trick Room and Tailwind like makes sense on this team. Actually, just looking at the pace of the team as well. This Lunala actually had on the pace, it was like Tailwind / Roar, so it was either or. Like I said, 2 Tailwinds is nice, but if you're not that bothered, Roar is potentially something you could have, or Psyshock obviously. Or Icy Wind. I feel like Icy Wind could be really good on Lunala. I've not tried it myself, but like I've seen a couple of people use it. It's very rare. I just think that's kind of good. You know, it's got like a decent speed stat to get an Icy Wind off, and then it's going to be outspeeding stuff that threatens it. Like Mega Gengar can't OHKO Lunala, but you can just OHKO it back with a Moongeist Beam, or obviously with the Z move as well. Actually, what got me through Protect the other day? I was using I was trying to Mega Gengar, and I had some HP. Oh, I know what it was. It was Ultra Necrozma in Psychic Terrain. It just OHKO'd my Mega Gengar through Protect. That was like, wow. And I had some HP investment as well. That was pretty impressive. But yeah, yeah, like the person who built this team, I think AtmosphereVGC, I think. Yeah, so you could Tailwind, Roar, interchangeable. Roar's not, even though like I've seen Roar on Lunala a few times, I don't particularly like it, but you know, it is an option. Like it does help with Xerneas again if you really don't want to bring Amoonguss and stuff. So yeah, that's a nice little option. Then we got the Incineroar. Like I've said a million times, we all know what Incineroar does, but this is kind of a bit more interesting. I mean, got the 50% berry, but this has got a lot more speed than usual. I mean, usually you just see the 236, 236, 4, and then 28. Obviously, this has opted for more speed. I don't know if that outspeeds something in particular, like there's a reason behind that, or if it's just to try and speed creep other Incineroar, so you make sure you're getting your fake out. Is that faster than... Wait, how fast is like Hitmontop? I can get rid of this Salamence now. Hotmon. Hotmontop. No, it's still not faster than Incineroar. Like... So yeah, something with Incineroar, if you do want to invest some speed, it might be worth going to like 92, so you can, you know, outspeed him on top. That's not a bad idea. No, I can't spell today, apparently. Apparently we can't spell. I'll just leave that up so we can see the full team. But yeah, that speed stat's interesting. U-turn, Snarl, and Flare, that's all good. Again, you could probably drop one of these if you want Roar on Incineroar, or Darkest Lariat, but I think U-turn and Snarl are, you know, very good, especially if you set up Trick Room and you got Incineroar, and you can just Snarl away at those opposing special attackers and just take the damage output down so much. Then we got Amoonguss. That's what I nearly said. Amoonguss. God, I can't speak. This is... That's not right, surely. I think that might be a mistake. I would imagine that's Regenerator rather than Effect Spore. Although, you never know. You know, imagine, you know, paralyzing something is a Kangaskhan or something like that is always nice. Or burning a Rayquaza or something could be kind of ideal. I mean, you could run Effect Spore if you want. It's certainly not an awful ability, really, especially with Rage Powder, but Regenerate was obviously the classic. I think that was probably a mistake. Yeah, this is just a classic Amoonguss spread, classic, you know, classic moves. Payapa is probably, I don't want to say the best berry, but it is very good. This one's Sassy. I think the other one we looked at was Careful rather than Sassy. I can't remember exactly, but was it? I mean, Calm, sorry. Not Careful. You don't want to be careful. Yeah, but 68, 188, 252. That's it. That's a great spread. But yeah, Payapa is so handy, especially with the amount of Psychic types running about. Like, just being able to live a Psyshock or something, and, you know, being able to get another Rage Powder off, potentially, to support your, whatever, your Groudon, your Lunala on this team, or your Salamence even, is just, you know, really handy. Okay, and last up on this team is the lovely Tapu Koko with Focus Sash, actually. That's an interesting one. Most of the Koko I've seen have been Z, or a couple of Assault Vest ones, but it's been mostly Z move. Focus Sash is an interesting one. I suppose it makes sense. Interesting moveset though. You got the Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, Nature's Madness, and Protect. I personally wouldn't run Nature's Madness on Focus Sash Koko. I'll probably end up running Dazzling Gleam. Or Discharge. Discharge is another good one on Tapu Koko because there are a lot of Lightning Rod users, especially on Rayouga teams. So just Discharge could really help. Or Grass Knot, I guess. but I think Discharge is better than Grass Knot. Especially when you've got Primal Groudon as well, you can Discharge next to that, obviously, freely. I suppose you could even Discharge next to your own Amoonguss, as if you're not that too bothered about potentially paralysing it. It's not going to be doing a ton, so that's good. Other Kokos you'll see, like I said, Assault Vest is one. That's usually like Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, Nature's Madness, and potentially something like Skydrop, which is a good option. You can always see a physical variant of Koko. Koko's actually, there's a lot of things Koko can do in this format actually. If you're running physical, you're obviously running Wild Charge and Brave Bird. This is one of the other really popular sets is the Life Orb Tapu Koko. Now in 17, like Life Orb Tapu Koko was pretty popular, but it was always special. But after, was it Oceania where that guy, I can't remember which player it was, but it was on stream. He was using like Tapu Koko Aerodactyl, and I was like, what? And it was so good because he OHKO'd an opposing Amoonguss with Life Orb Brave Bird. That was insane. I was like, I think the opposing player was like, he just looked like so confused, and I was like, oh my god, like I did not expect that to occur. So Life Orb Koko, physical Life Orb Koko is still very popular. Wild Charge does a ton. Obviously you want to be intimidating that if you bump into it. Yeah, Dazzling Gleam again, that's a classic one. Koko gets Raw? Huh. I probably know that at some point, but I've forgotten. That's kind of an interesting one. Taunt is a good one. I used to just like running Taunt on Koko. Electro Web's a really good one as well for speed control. One thing that you can potentially see, if you see Koko on like a team with Rayquaza, it can potentially have Hidden Power Water, so just be wary of that with your Groudon if you're playing an opposing Koko with a Rayquaza. Like I've seen a couple of Hidden Power Water Tapu Kokos, which is kind of interesting. It doesn't usually like OHKO Groudon, even with like Life Orb. I think I calculated it, but like it does a ton, like 85% or something silly. I'll have to calculate again, but I can't exactly remember. And one other thing we did see on, we're not going to see Carmine. I remember Carmine Koko being a bit of a thing in 17, but it never really took off. One other thing we did see in yesterday's episode of the Ultra Series testing was a Koko that had Light Screen and Reflect, which I think is really interesting and actually really good because Koko's like obviously base 130. That's like one of the fastest mons. I mean, it's speed time with stuff like Mega Gengar and, you know, I can't bother going through all the different mons it's going to speed time with. But my point is, it's one of the fastest Pokemon. There's not that much that outspeeds it, that just OHKOs it. That outspeeds and OHKOs it. So, and especially with this set, I mean, you've got Focus Sash. So you're pretty much guaranteed to get a Light Screen and or a Reflect Up, which, you know, that's super handy. Especially with all the Finnies that are running Light Screen, it could be really handy to run like your own Tapu Koko with Light Screen. Obviously, it kind of depends on your team, I guess, which you could run both, or you could, if you specifically need Light Screen for something, you could probably drop Nature's Madness. I understand why Nature's Madness is on this set, for example, because, you know, just chunking something down by 50% of its HP is like really handy for like the late game. But on Focus Sash, yeah, on AV, Koko Nature's Madness is a staple, but it's just the shaky accuracy on Nature's Madness that I'm not particularly keen on. But you know, it is a decent move overall. But yeah, I think Koko is a really good partner for Primal Groudon. Obviously, really helps take care of those water types that threaten Groudon so much when it's not got its weather up. Kyogre mainly, I guess. I guess if you're really worried about Kyogre, you probably want to be running physical instead of special. Obviously, Z Wild Charge would hit so much harder. One of the other sets you can actually run is mixed. I know like Jamie Boyd had a Electrium Z Tapu Koko that was like either based off Thunder, was it Thunder or Thunderbolt, and Wild Charge. That's a good idea because Koko's like so frail, like you don't really expect it to stick around long, so you're not really bothered about dropping one of the defenses to use a mixed Koko. And that's so handy just for whatever situation you're in, like kind of if you need to deck an opposing Pokemon that's, you know, more physically defensive, you just hit it on the special side and like the opposite way around. That's something really good. And obviously the electric terrain is really good support for your team. Your opponents then, you know, can't spam sleep. There's been a few, obviously there's always Amoonguss running around, Smeagol's actually not as common as I thought it would be. Like, I see the odd one, but it's just nowhere near as common as I thought it would be. But the other sleep spammer is Z Trick Room Bronzong, obviously with the Hypnosis, and it becomes more accurate after the Z Trick Room. So just bringing Koko to a match where you're going against a Bronzong that you're not sure if it's like Z Trick Room, it can spam Hypnosis. Just having Koko there at the beginning of the game, say, can, you know, just save you from being, you know, just run over and having all your mons put to sleep and then just run over by something like Groudon or Kyogre, even, depending on what the team is, obviously. So yeah, Koko is still really good. But yeah, a magically changed jumper. But yeah, this team overall looks pretty solid to me. It feels like it would work. Obviously, Mega Salamence-Primal Groudon, you're going to see that a lot. Incineroar and Amoonguss support, you're going to see that a ton as well. And Lunala is like super common on the ladder at the moment as well, which is kind of interesting, but it's really good actually. Just Shadow Shield just makes it so good. Like, without Shadow Shield, it would be awful. It would be absolutely awful. I mean, it's just going to go down to stuff like Mega Gengar and that, but because of Shadow Shield, it makes it really viable, especially like its move pool. It's just like Wide Guard, amazing, Trick Room, Tailwind. Like, it's such a mixed bag of tricks, and it's a really good one. And I really like Tapu Koko paired with Groudon. I think that's a good little pairing. So yeah, this team seems really solid to me. So I'm just going to quickly look at one more team before we finish. It's not really a team, it's more like a core, but yeah, let's have a look at that. Okay, so the last little team we're going to look at is Psychic Spam. Even though I feel like it has dropped a little bit recently. Like I said, Xerneas Groudon's really popular and stuff like that, but like this was really popular at the beginning. It's kind of slowly dropping off, but you probably will still run into it. Scarf Tapu Lele is still everywhere. If you see Tapu Lele, just presume it's Scarf, because it usually is. You're definitely going to see it have Psyshock or Psychic. Most are actually going for Psychic now, which is kind of interesting. I suppose it hits like Groudon harder. Moonblast is a staple. Dazzling Gleam is usually on there, and the last one I would expect it to be Magic Room. We did look at that team where it was Taunt instead of Magic Room, but I think Magic Room is probably better if you're running Scarf Lele. I guess you could always see something like Nature's Madness, although I wouldn't recommend that on Scarf, just because you're kind of locking into an inaccurate move, you know, that's only doing half the damage. So like, I don't think that's a good one to lock into. Gravity is another one potentially. If it's paired with a Groudon, that, you know, Gravity could work really well. Or if it's paired with something like, yeah, this is actually one to be careful. If you go up against Scarf Lele and Mega Gengar, just be careful that it's not Gravity Lele, because Mega Gengar can just run Hypnosis and just put you to sleep. So Lele plus Mega Gengar is quite an interesting pairing. And I was actually thinking about this, like, because I've been testing Mega Gengar a lot. I really like Mega Gengar. It's probably my favourite Mega in this format at the moment. There's other good ones obviously as well, but Mega Gengar just feels really strong. It's got a lot of threats, but it's just you can run it in so many ways, which I really like. Yeah, people are running Scarf Lele to counter Mega Gengar, right? But one thing you could do, this Skill Swap as well is another one that you could potentially see, although Choice Scarf locking into Skill Swap is obviously not great, but yeah, those are pretty much the common attacks really you'll see. But Magic Room, most people are running like this, like just like 252, 252 modest. One thing I thought you could do, if you're running Mega Gengar and if you run your own Tapu Lele as well, or if you've got a spare slot and you're struggling against Tapu Lele, you've not really got an option for it. One thing you could do is, instead of going modest, go timid. Oh wait a second, what was the speed? 147. So you could swap to timid. Sorry, and go to like 148. And I'll just chuck I always have 4 in the defenses. Could just chuck the rest in HP. You could magic, like if you're timid, and most Leles I've seen they're usually modest. You can Magic Room first, which obviously gets rid of the opponent's Lele Scarf, and then your Mega Gengar can take it out. I thought that was actually kind of a good idea, where if you're really struggling, if you're using Mega Gengar and you're really struggling to get beat opposing Tapu Lele, and obviously that Magic Room can just come in handy, like, you know, getting rid of Sashes, etc. Obviously you do get rid of your own Choice Scarf, but if you get a lot out of it, it's kind of worth it, like making Xerneas Geomancy or something. But if you're a Xerneas, unless you've got like a ton of support, I wouldn't recommend just going for Geomancy straight in front of a Tapu Lele, because like I say, Magic Room is a thing, and especially if it's like sat next to a Necrozma, then you're kind of in trouble. So yeah, Scarf Lele is really common, but like I say, that's just a little idea I had for Magic Room with Mega Gengar. I thought it could be quite funny, but like I say, most of the time you are just going to see this. Now I would always have 4 in the defenses and go like 2-4-4. But yeah, it's probably just going to be max. I would expect it. I think Dazzling Gleam's a really good option. Like I say, especially if you pair it with, like, again, if you pair it with Mega Gengar, if you're having trouble with like Lunala or something, you can just Dazzling Gleam. Well, you got to be careful about Wide God, obviously, or something. But like, or you could, you know, because you're faster, you can just double it and break the Shadow Shield before it does anything, and Mega Gengar will obviously finish it off with a Shadow Ball. So yeah, Tapu Lele. Even though I keep saying I don't like the Scarf, the more I think about it, like, there are some really good options with the Scarf, actually. So Tapu Lele is basically like a key element of the Psychic kind of spam teams. And it doesn't even have to be like a Psychic spam team. It's like Lele is on just a lot of teams. Mega Mewtwo Y is a super good pairing. Why did I put this speed stat? Oh, I think I made it out. I think that was just to outspeed Mega Manectric by 1 point. Was that what that was for? Let's look at Mega. Because I don't think you really need to be faster than that. Really. Yeah, 205. So, yeah, 206. So, that was just to outspeed Mega Manectric. But, you know, Mega Mewtwo Y is like super strong. That base 194 special attack. It's ridiculous. And he got so many options as well. Psystrike is obviously a key one. Got Energy Ball. Yep, Flamethrower, Aura Sphere, Ice Beam. It can actually run support. I didn't even know it gets Disable. Grass Knot, Hurricane. He's just got so many, like, I mean, obviously he won't be going for Hurricane outside the rain, but yeah, it's just got a lot of Will-O-Wisp. I didn't even know it got like Shadow Ball. It could even run Thunderbolt. You know, Mewtwo gets just a. It's even got, yeah, Gravity as well. It can run. Electro Ball, if it was Stabby, would be good. Could even run something like Icy Wind. But yeah, Mewtwo just in Psychic terrain is so strong. And, you know, you do see a lot of Mewtwo Y. I'm not seen a Mewtwo X yet. But one of you did actually point out in a... I don't know if it was in this series or in like an Ultra Series testing episode, that actually Mewtwo with a Life Orb is actually stronger than Mega Mewtwo. Like, Psystrike does more. I don't think... Psystrike from Mega Mewtwo Y can... I don't know if it's like... I don't know if it just... I'm not sure if it just OHKOs Xerneas, but Mewtwo with a Life Orb, Psystrike definitely does. So, well, unless obviously it's got like a lot of defensive bulk. But, yeah, just do think about that if you want to run Mewtwo. You know, Mega Mewtwo Y is restricted and a Mega Stone. So... maybe consider Life Orb Mewtwo, because then you're only using restricted. You still got a potential Mega. Like I say, if you're really going like you can use Mega Gengar maybe, or any other pair really. But yeah, Life Orb Mewtwo is something to consider. Obviously, you'd be running similar type of moves. Yeah, Mega Gengar, like I said, I've only seen it a few times, but I have seen it paired with Tapu Lele. I also another one for this is Lunala, but yeah, Mega Gengar. Like I said, you could potentially Magic Room away opponents' Lele's Scarves, but I don't know if that works. I'll have to just try that. It's a bit cheeky. Mega Gengar is super common at the moment, and there's only really one kind of Gengar that I'm seeing around, and obviously it's like Protect, Shadow Ball, Sludge Bomb. You usually want Shadow Ball and Sludge Bomb. If people are running Substitute on Mega Gengar, but it has got a lot of options, some of which I think are potentially better. So, I mean, Destiny Bond you could use. It's maybe not a bad idea, actually, Destiny Bond, because especially if you get low, and you can literally just Destiny Bond, and you can potentially take out a Necrozma or something, you know, whatever attacks into it. So, actually, Destiny Bond's not a bad one. I've not seen anybody run that yet. Disable is something I've been messing around with. I do kind of like Disable. Like, you know, protecting, letting your opponent go for, say, Precipice Blades or something, and then disabling it is, like, super nice. Yeah, I can't say I've seen foul play or anything, but Haze is one potentially, although I don't think it's massively necessary on Gengar because it does threaten Xerneas so much with Sludge Bomb anyway. It's pretty much always going to be like a 2-hit KO Sludge Bomb, and you can obviously take a Moonblast and a Dazzling Gleam like quite nicely, especially if you invest. Perish Song, yeah, if you see Gengar paired with Dugong and just stuff like that, you know it's going to be Perish Trap. That is obviously kind of hard to deal with. That's why I did mention I think we looked at a team with Mega Gengar already. Do always try and have U-turn or Volt Switch or an eject button or something just to make sure you can, or a Ghost type, just to make sure you can, you know, get in and out of stuff like Perish Trap, because if you don't have anything for it, you literally can just lose to it so like instantly. If there's nothing you can do, it can be kind of annoying. Like I say, Shadow Ball is a staple. Taunt is a good one for Mega Gengar. I can't see I've seen, like I say, I can't see I've seen too many people running that, but it does make sense and it is a good one. And Will-O-Wisp as well is another really good one. Again, haven't seen a ton. The accuracy is a bit annoying on Will-O-Wisp, obviously, but it is a good option, especially like, you know, burning like Mega Rayquaza or something. Or I don't know, if you're running Xerneas Gengar or something and you play a Mega Metagross. Usually Mega Metagross can live a Shadow Ball, so maybe just burning it instead is quite a nice option. And the other one I really always like to run on Mega Gengar is Icy Wind. I really like Icy Wind on Mega Gengar. I think it's I mean, you're pretty much guaranteed to get it off you so fast. Well, apart from if you're facing down Lele's and stuff, but it's a really good option for speed control. Obviously, it hits those dragons really hard as well, stuff like Mega Salamence and Mega Rayquaza. You know, it does a lot to that. I suppose you could run Trick Room as well on Gengar, but that isn't too common, really. And Skill Swap is another one. And Skill Swap is actually not a bad shout. Like, quite often you see, well, it was like on Wolf's World's team, wasn't it? It was he had Skill Swap on the Gengar. So especially if you have it next to, like, I don't know, if you're playing a Groudon and you've got your Gengar next to your Bronzong, and the Bronzong is a bit useless, you can always Skill Swap Levitate off Bronzong onto Gengar, and then, you know, you're immune from those ground type attacks, which, you know, that can actually really come in handy. So that's an interesting one that, you know, you could potentially see. Snatch, I didn't know it got that. That's I don't know if you'll see Snatch, but potentially, you never know. You never know what little tricks people have got up their sleeve. But those are like the common ones. But anyway, I think Mega Gengar is really good, and it does kind of pair well with Tapu Lele. So that's one to have a look at. So next up is probably one of the key elements of these Psychic teams. You're going to see Necrozma and Lele paired together very often, and with good reason. This ability is silly. Super effective attacks do 1.25 damage. That is just like, say what? It's such a good ability. So Ultra Necrozma is usually, I'm actually just gonna get rid of Lunala. It's usually, well, it depends. Obviously, if you look at its stats, it has to say obviously attack and special attack stats are the same. 167. It's usually going to be the Timid or Jolly, or it could even be mixed. That just drops special defense or the defense like Naive or something, or Hasty. It could even be that. The thing is, it depends. It depends which Necrozma you go against. So, nope, I can't spell Necroz. Okay, so obviously, if you're going against Dawn Wings, you can kind of expect it to be special, and they're probably running Dawn Wings, so Necrozma can use Moongeist Beam, which is illegal apparently, but it does get it. Yeah, so Necrozma can run Moongeist Beam. Why is that saying that was illegal? Doesn't make any sense. That's weird. Yeah, and if it's going to be special, you're always going to see Protect, I would imagine. Yeah, Prismatic. No, is it Prismatic later? No, it's Photon Geyser. Oh, that's like, well, that's really strong. Yeah, you're always going to see Photon Geyser, which obviously changes to be physical or special depending on what the highest stat is. Obviously, if you're running, I'll put this as like a mixed let's just put it as a special. I can't see it being anything other than like this kind of, really. And maybe they'll put some bulk in, I don't know. But you're going to see Photon Geyser, you're going to see Moongeist Beam, if it's off this Necrozma. And then the last move is always a bit, I have seen a couple of Calm Mind Necrozmas, which is a bit scary. Earth Power is very common. Be extremely careful with your Groudons. That does a ton, if not KOs, if you've not got investment. Dragon Pulse is one I've seen as well, which, you know, does make a lot of sense for like opposing, like, because you outspeed Mega Salamence and you obviously outspeed Mega Rayquaza as well. Look, 129, that's just really fast. Did you mention if it was 130, that might be a bit busted. If it was like speed time with Mega Gengar, oh dear. I mean, you do obviously underspeed Mega Gengar, and Shadow Ball does do a lot, but you can survive it with, obviously, you could just put a bit of investment to make sure you survive it. I didn't know you got Gravity, that's an interesting one. But those are the kind of the main ones. Earth Power, like I said. I suppose Flash Cannon could be there, or Heat Wave maybe, but yeah, I would always, if it's off the Dawn Wings, I would always obviously expect Moongeist Beam, Photon Geyser, and potentially Earth Power. Now, if it's on the other one, yeah. Now, if it's on this one, Duskmane, it could potentially be more physical, but it might not be, because when it does the Ultra Burst, you know, it does get the equal stats. So, you know, this could always be a you could always be playing a timid Duskmane, because I actually think Duskmane is better if like whichever way you run it, because this is it's just got a better defensive typing, I think. Obviously Psychic Steel's like a good typing, really, rather than Psychic Ghost. I think that's a bit better. And obviously, like you say, you can still run it special, because when it Ultra Burst, I know it's a Mega Evolve, I feel like it's going to Mega Evolve. It's Ultra Burst, its stats change anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So you could pretty much run the same thing. Obviously, you can't run Moongeist Beam, because this Necrozma does not get it. But you could easily run something else. I mean, if you're going to go physical, same. You want Photon Geyser, you can have Sunstrike Steel. I don't know why that keeps saying it's illegal, that's weird. I've even seen Earthquake, but a big one that I think is a really interesting one is Trick Room, right? And yeah, it does kind of catch you off guard, because if you're facing down an opposing, like, this is why I think this one's better, because if you're facing down Xerneas, say, and it's boosted, you're obviously not going to Ultra Burst unless you're in Tailwind or something. You're better off sticking like this and Trick Rooming and then Sunstrike Stealing it or something. So yeah, Necrozma can be a bit of a mixed bag of tricks. It's obviously, if you don't know how Ultra Necrozma works as well, you take a turn Ultra Bursting, and then the next turn you can use your Z move, which in Psychic terrain is just ridiculous. I was running Mega Gengar the other day, and I think I had 84 in HP and like 4 in the defenses, and I protected against I don't know if it was, I can't remember if it was physical or special, but I protected against against an Ultra Necrozma. It was like the last turn of Tailwind or something. I just thought, right, I'll just protect, stall it out, and then I can hit it with a Shadow Ball next turn. And my opponent went for the Z move onto my Mega Gengar. It was in Psychic terrain, and it OHKO'd through Protect, and I was like, oh my god, that's like crazy. It did so much damage. So yeah, the Z move on Necrozma is like ridiculously strong. Should be OHKOing stuff like Primal Groudon. I guess it depends on whether it's like more physical or special. It's kind of an interesting one. Like I said, you can, because its attacks and you know, they're so high, you could even run it mixed as well. It's like it's weird, Necrozma, because I don't want to say it's like a glass cannon, because if you just look at its stats, it does look like a glass cannon, like, you know, decent defenses and HP, but you know, its main things are it's fast and it hits hard. However, you don't have to Ultra Burst, and this is way more defensive, and you can potentially even, I mean, run it slower if you want, if you don't plan on Ultra Bursting all the time. I mean, I don't think it's necessary to run, I mean, if you're running Dragon Pulse, say, I'd say it's probably necessary to run full speed, because you want to be, if you're running Dragon Pulse, maybe you're trying to, you know, OHKO. I don't know if it would OHKO, but obviously Dragon Pulse opposing Ultra Necrozmas first, so you probably just want to outspeed something like Salamence. But you could probably drop the speed to Mega Salamence. What's Mega? I can't remember what Mega Salamence is. Is it 120? I can never remember. Salamence. Nope, I've done it again. I always put Sla. Yeah, 120. So at max, that's. I'll just put Jolly for the top one. So you want to be like 190 if you're going to drop any speed. I don't think I'd go any lower than that. Which would give you a bit, you know, which would free up your defenses a bit more. You could, I suppose it's better with, is it better? Yeah, it's probably better doing HP there. And you can always drop special attack and stuff. So yeah, like I said, it's weird, like Necrozma can be a glass cannon, but it's kind of not the same way, because if it doesn't ultra burst, it can kind of be a bit of a tank and set trick room and stuff. So yeah, Necrozma is crazy and actually really good. I think I tried it a little bit. I think I kind of prefer special. Obviously, if you're physical, obviously as well, you wouldn't run Timid, you run Jolly. I forgot to change that. I kind of prefer the special one. Moongeist Beam is nice. Don't know why it's just coming up as illegal. That seems really weird. I don't think it should be doing that, should it? Yeah, those are the. I mean, you could run Flash Cannon if you really need it, but Earth Power is one that is very common. So be careful with your Groudons, and obviously, like Photon guys are just Z Photon guys are the light that burns the sky is just like insanely strong. And yeah, obviously a good way to beat Necrozma is set up Xerneas, but obviously you need a lot of support to do that. You want to be redirecting attacks. You don't want to take the Z move, you're just going to die. So yeah, Ultra Necrozma is like super scary. And yeah, there's kind of like a few ways you can run it. It's kind of an interesting one. I really like that trick room idea. I have seen a couple of Necrozma Groudon teams, which is kind of interesting. So yeah, I'm interested to see how, like, what becomes kind of like the standard Necrozma, because at the moment it is a bit of a mixed bag of tricks, as I always seem to say. So yeah, that's probably about it for this episode and this series in a way. I hope you found it a little useful. It's just kind of like my thoughts on certain mons that, you know, I've seen on the ladders so far, and I've been playing a lot. There was actually, I think it was last night, I saw it go up, or the day before, I'm not sure when they actually put it, but I got the teams we've been looking through off a Smog forum, and there's actually a Trainer Tower article now with some other, was probably about 6, 7 or 8 or something, team pace, and they all look really solid as well, kind of some similar cores we've gone over, and some of the same teams actually we've gone over, so I will link that in the description as well. That's a really good one to look at. I'm going to have a proper look at that as well. So yeah, cheers for watching this episode and this series, guys. Take it easy, and I'll see you all in a bit.